Yankees a lead. Who is he? He's pal Joey. A 3-run blast, and the Yankees now take a 5-3 lead.
Welcome to the Bronx, Joey Gallo. And I know he's
This is 161st Street, Yankee Stadium.
Swung on a hit there, Keaney center, gets back, away back, she is gone.
All right, welcome back to the Boys of 161st Street, episode 153. That was a fun one. See, that one was actually, it was like a fun game to watch. I personally, as you guys probably are noticing now, we didn't put an episode last week. I was out in San Francisco, and I'm going to be leaning on you guys heavily, Chandler and Murph, today, because I didn't really watch as much as I thought I was going to while I was in San Francisco. Different time zone, and yeah, just didn't really. I still paid attention to all that, and I know everything that happened. I just didn't watch like the little nuances, so I can't give my little analysis. So I'll be leaning on you guys heavily on that. But I mean, damn, was that a fun game to watch leading up to an episode that we record? We haven't had one of those in a while, so before we get into that,
lost? Real quick, what have we lost? Like 2 games in the last 8. I think maybe not even that, because let's see, we took 2 or 3 from the Rays. We took all 3 from the Marlins.
So I have it written down. I have it. We are the best record since July 6th at 17-8. We are, I think it is now, is it 1.5 out of the wild card? And I can check right now.
5.5 out of the AL East, 1.5 out of the wild card, I believe.
Boom. Murphy's got it.
True?
He was working all night. Yep, 5.5 in the East,
show on the way home,
1.5
so out
out of the wild card.
Yeah, so I mean, things are very
13-6 since the All-Star break, I believe.
You know what sucks is that we started off 500, because right now we're playing so well that like I forget about the standings just day to day. I'm like, God, it's a good day. The Yankees are leading the East by like 9 games, and then I look at it like, oh yeah, I forgot about the whole. Let's forget about everything up until June. The season started July 6th. Let's go on a run.
My boss at work is a diehard Dodgers fan, and today he told me he thinks it's going to be Dodgers-Yankees in the World Series.
I'll take
Dude,
that.
there's new juice right now. I mean, Sex Panther, a.k.a. Anthony Rizzo, is just the greatest Yankee first baseman to ever play baseball. Tyone is just continuing to be our best pitcher in the second half, which is funny because we're doing rounding third at the back end of this show, along with Hot or Not, since we haven't done these in a week. We're just going to pile them both together and have a long, nice show for you guys today. But like Tyone, somebody in rounding third, I think it was it was right after the All-Star break, and somebody said that Jameson Tyone would be our best pitcher in the second half. And right now,
I sold it too, because I think this was right after
Of course you
Cole.
sold it.
No, I sold it because I think this was right after Cole threw the complete game shutout against Houston. And then he said it. I was like, well, of course not. But now,
even if Cole didn't do that, you're still going to take Cole because you paid Cole to be that guy, and he's having a Cy Young caliber year. But the way that Cole,
that's how I'm putting the time frame in reference.
Yeah, Cole has had a few blow up starts here and there, and Tyone in the second half has not. So right now he is being our best pitcher in the second half. Obviously, that is subject to change, and I'm very sure that Cole will be that guy and come out on top for the rest of this second half. But I mean, having a good number 2 is never a fucking bad thing, especially when there's reinforcements pitching wise on the way. Sevy's coming back soon.
For the sake of $324 million, I hope he's wrong. But I would love to have him be right in the sense that 1, Tyone's just a likable guy, and 2, you need that second ace, kind of, especially if you want to win a short series in the playoffs, you need a second ace. So if Tyone's that guy, that's fucking fantastic. But for the sake of me not losing my fucking hair at a young age, I need Cole to still be the guy.
So one thing I also wanted to point out before we get into Hot or Not or anything else like that, first let's talk about that Gallo fucking home run real quick, because we're going to get into other stuff before that, but then this happened. I was writing out like the itinerary of the show during the game, and then Gallo hits that porch job, which would have gone out in 10 ballpark, so it really wasn't the biggest porch job, and the Kelenic one was only out in Yankee Stadium, and that's it. So we got porched twice.
It was very high too, which was cool.
Dude, it had a 48-degree launch angle. That is double the league average on home run balls, not just in general. That's double the league average. And it's just wild that, I mean, are you shocked that that's what happens when you have somebody who, like, he didn't even hit it right. He got so under it and it still got out. And that's the reason why we should have gotten lefty power for the longest time. And this is exactly the reason. And like you're seeing the evidence as to why this would work. Even if you don't get it exactly that, like you're still going to get production out of those lefty bats. And it's a little bit better than the older lefty bats that we had before in Tyler Wade and Brett Gardner. So, dude, that's just exactly what you want to see. And then you got Rizzo too, which we haven't talked to you guys in a week. So I haven't even had a chance to or any of us to talk about these two new signings. And it's just fucking awesome that Gallo actually had that little coming out party today, because before that he was 2 for 23. And obviously I wasn't worried, and I'm sure none of you were. And if you were, that's a little ridiculous, but you know,
Rizzo made up for it. Like, if you combine their averages, I don't know what it was, but let's just say it's like
Rizzo was
'cause
right
Rizzo
around
said, like-
500. So
yeah, Rizzo sent like 500. So it's like, say they're combined for a 300 average with X amount of home runs. That doesn't seem as bad as just Gallo being that terrible. Plus,
all in
Gallo's
all,
hitting like 220 on the year anyway. It's like-
exactly. But I mean,
it's
all in
not
all,
that- it's not
that's
like
a,
he's supposed to be a contact.
that's
guy,
a
so.
huge win for Cashman to add both of those. Like, and I was I was thinking about it yesterday. You know, the whole expectation coming up to the deadline was the Yankees are going to get Story. Story's going to be moved. That's going to be the big one. This seems inevitable that sometime between Wednesday and Friday, Story was going to get moved, and then Rizzo was the consolation prize. I would flip it. Like, at the time, I was like, oh shit, Rizzo. I don't know where that came from, but I'll take it. But looking back on it, I don't know what I was thinking. Like, that is a fucking steal. Rizzo has been fantastic, and even when we got him, like, I was excited but confused. But I mean, there's no reason to be confused. That he provides an upgrade in every single facet of the game.
I was more excited that we took him from the Red Sox than that we got him in general. At the
well,
time.
yeah, because he was a perfect fit for the Red Sox. And we were talking about that before, I think, on the show, because the last show we had was the one where we announced that Gallo. Well, we didn't announce it, but we announced it to our pod that Gallo and Rizzo had joined the Yankees. But like that's exactly it, and that's why I kind of wanted to get Barrios as well. Sorry, excuse me with these city sounds behind me, but that's why I wanted to get Barrios as well, because that would have been a blockage of like I said, my friend who's a Red Sox fan, Matt, he was very upset about losing out on Rizzo, and I'm sure he's even more upset now that Rizzo's actually producing, because he said we were going to ruin Rizzo, and then he said it's the consolation, like at least he wants to go out and get Barrios, and that's why I wanted to get that, because it would have been a block, and evidently it would have been a block because the Blue Jays got him too. Not that I really wanted Barrios that bad, and we'll get into the alternative that we got.
I was gonna say we got a better version of Barrios.
Yeah, we got Andrew Heaney. So, and we'll talk about him later on the show.
He set a record in his first start.
We'll talk about him later on the show. He has a place in this show today.
Yes,
but
he is a record-setting starting pitcher.
Yeah.
Does anybody call him Doheny? No.
No. Why would you? Why would you call him
like
that?
if he was good, I feel like I don't know if he was a magician or something. I don't know.
Oh, Doheny.
Doheny. Like,
Well, wait till. Do you not know his record yet? That he set?
No, we'll tease it. We'll tease
I'm
it.
happy to hear it when
We'll
we
get
get
to it on Hot or Not. Why don't we just do Hot or Not now then?
We're giving it a wrong tease if he thinks he's a magician. That's.
Oh no, I know he's not a magician. I'm saying if he was good.
Let's get into Hot or Not.
We don't need to worry about that.
Who wants to do the hots? Who wants to do the nots?
I'll let my friend and colleague Nolan Murphy decide first.
I'll take the hots, baby.
If Murphy turns off his AC unit, that'd be great.
It's off. It's not me.
Okay.
I don't know what to tell you.
So I don't know what that is, but all right, the hots. All right, leading off for the hots, Anthony Rizzo with 6 games, and I don't include tonight, but he's batting 400 coming into that, 3 home runs, 1.369 OPS, and 255 WRC plus, and a new nickname, the Sex Panther. Are we buying it?
I liked Tony Fourbags better, but I'm buying it.
Jamison Tyone, his last 6 starts, 1.47 ERA, 2 runs or fewer in each start, 1.16 ERA in July, was the lowest in the American League.
You know what? This is one of the ones where I'd be like, I don't know if I buy it yet, because I don't know. I still feel like that he's not quite proved himself to me, but I'm going to buy it.
Luis Gil, MLB debut, 6 innings pitched. Murphy's guy, actually, so this is good that we brought Murphy on for the hots this time. 4 hits, 0 runs, 1 walk, 6 Ks. Have a debut.
Yeah, buying it. I mean, I hope he sticks around for a bit. Doubt it, but.
So bought them all again. We're big buyers on this show, but I mean,
who's not? What's not? I mean, yeah, I'm not gonna buy Gil. Is gonna be up for the rest of the year in pitching like that, but
I thought you were a
he's
Medina
that good.
guy.
He could be that good.
he's the big Luis
That's
guy.
fine.
He likes all of them.
The 3-headed Luis.
yeah.
monster.
Well, we lost Sessa and Sevi.
Okay, so excuse me, the 4-headed Luis monster with Sessa.
It was the 4-headed. Now it's the 3-headed.
Well, he was primarily. You were always like the biggest Medina.
Medina was my. I was
Yeah.
the
I was
highest
gonna
on
say
Medina.
because I knew you were high on the one like Medina throws like 102. So
Yeah, I was super high. Still am super high on Medina.
Speaking of 102, apparently that guy that nobody fucking knew. What was his name?
Steven Ridlings.
Yeah.
and
So
I
apparently
fucking
he's
love
the best
him.
thing ever. He didn't make his way into the hot
Where
or
did he
not
come
list,
from?
but I don't know.
No, dude,
Just-
that's what
he
I'm
just
saying.
like magically appeared one day.
Can I
and they're
give
like,
a
"All
quick shout out to Steven Ridlings? His grandmother passed away like the night before. He got like back-to-back phone calls. I was listening to the post-game show. It was like, your grandmother passed away. And then he got another one that was like, hey, you want to go to the Bronx tomorrow? He's like, what the and they went up there and did that.
That's
Which I guess
fucking awesome.
that makes a little more sense when he fucking wasted guy number 1 at like 101 at the chest. And he kind of
Yeah,
got a
there's a
little,
little
he
angry in that one.
fucking started screaming and shit. I was like, this guy's a psychopath and I love it. But I guess he had a little extra incentive. So, you know what? Good on him. I tried to get him on the show.
Did you
And just
see
quick
that,
shout out. Oh, go ahead.
Did you see Robbie Friedman like tweeted one of his pitches, and then he responded with an unverified account, but it was him, and he said like, "Now I've made it" or something like that. I thought it was pretty
Yeah. Dude, he's fucking awesome.
And just quick shout out to the Rangers and the Cubs, and I guess the Angels, but not really. Oh wait, who do we get Heaney from? Angels, right?
The fucking
Yeah.
Angels.
Yeah.
The Angels did themselves a service.
But not the Angels. They wouldn't have got either one of them. But quick shout out to them because they're getting their prospects. We apparently gave up so much, and then the very next game, our prospects that we just pull out of the fucking gutters end up throwing 101. And Luis, is it Heel or Gil?
I always
It's-
thought it
they
was
s-
Gil. I don't.
They said Heel.
Then
Well,
it's
if you
Gil.
think about it, like in my very, very limited Spanish knowledge, he'll make sense.
Yeah.
And
So-
I feel like
Does make
Michael K would know of all
Yeah.
people how to pronounce a name.
But I was just saying,
I
it's
mean, yeah,
just,
you don't mispronounce it that way.
no.
You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
But shout out to them for just, they're probably punching air, noticing that like, oh, the Yankees just got decimated their farm system, and then all of a sudden these two guys go out and they start fucking shoving. But
Dude, Ridlings might be my new favorite player. He was fucking awesome.
yeah, he was great. I mean, he looks like a fucking stud. I think somebody, I forget who, I think it was a kid in our fraternity, Murph. I forgot his fucking, John Marsh. Apparently he went to his high school and he said he's nasty. So
All right.
Dude, did you
Hometown
see
guy.
somebody?
So
Maybe we can
I
get him
think
on the
John
pod.
Marsh is from. I think he's from Long Island. Then would
Yeah.
that be?
It was either Ridlings or Gil or Heel, whatever. But one of them came in. I think it was Ridlings. He threw 3 straight balls, and then he threw 9 straight swing and misses. It was fucking just ridiculous.
all these guys coming for fucking, coming for Chapman's
How have I
job
never
here.
heard of him, dude? He's 6'8" and throws 102. Where the fuck has he been?
He's got the build. He's got the build to be. He looks like a Glasnow type build.
He's like a redheaded glass now.
A red-handed
That's
right-hander
dangerous.
Randy Johnson. No, he looks like Glasnow. But speaking of the people that actually did make the hot list, so obviously can't get enough of Anthony Rizzo. The Sex Panther has just been going off. I don't care if you like Tony Fourbags better. We put a vote out there. Sex Panther won.
It's not a bad nickname. I love it.
Shirts have been printed. If you want to get your hands on a Sex Panther shirt, the link is in the bio on the Instagram. Go check those out. I'm going to get a one for myself. I also am rocking right now the Greg Allen Fan Club shirt. RIP to him. Apparently, we are going to talk about that in a little bit, but he's got sent down for no fucking reason. But back to the hot list. So Rizzo is just, it's just so amazing to see these
You know what
guys,
was
these
amazing
lefties with
to
the
me?
he just has such a pure swing from the left side, and it's just so nice. And the thing that, you know, I guess a lot of people are still going to talk about it, but the thing that is not being talked about as much because his offense has been so great, that pick he makes today to save that Odor throw that was just, it wasn't a horrible throw, but it was a tough scoop in the 9th inning. that is a huge play, because if that guy gets on, then it's bases loaded, and Chapman, he's going to shit his pants even more than he already did that time. So just the defense is something that we knew we were going to get coming in, but just awesome to actually see it in action, because we kind of really haven't had a truly good defensive first baseman. I don't know, Voit isn't a bad one by any means, but he's not a great like gold glove or platinum glove defender. And we've always had DJ, who has been out of position, and props to him for going out of position, but when you match him up against other actual first basemen, I'm sure he's not the best defensively. I haven't looked at it specifically, but like there is no denying Anthony Rizzo is better than all of them, and he's clearly been better than everybody in the league at some points when he gets the platinum glove. So it's just awesome. It's such a great thing.
Two-sided thing here. 2 points to make. One, that scoop of Odor, we need as a podcast and as a Yankee fan base, you need to give fucking Rougned Odor a round of applause. He had never played a game at third in his career, and he's getting better every fucking game. He looks good at third base now. Like at first you can tell
he has to do to stay
exactly.
In the lineup.
You could tell that he had never played his first game, and after 3 or 4 games, you're like, oh shit, okay, he's picking it up well. Rougned Odor is a team player, and he's doing a damn good job at third base. So round of applause to him. Point number 2. Point number 2, Rizzo, I don't care about the hits. I don't care about the home runs. He brings a level to this offense that we haven't seen in so fucking long. He puts together solid at-bats. I feel like every single Rizzo at-bat is 3-2, and he's fouling off pitches. Like yesterday, he had like a 14, 15, 16 pitch at-bat, and he drew a walk. He hit like 9 foul home runs. And the rest of the Yankee team, if by the grace of God, they got 15 pitches in and hit that many foul at-bats, they're whiffing at the next one trying to hit at 480. Rizzo took the next borderline strike and just took his base. He was happy to do it. Murphy, go ahead.
I'm going right off what you said, because part of our problem has been that the hitters that we have in our lineup that take the best at-bats aren't necessarily historically our best hitters. It's like I think of Gardner, I think of Hicks, and they're not necessarily the best hitters in the lineup. So to have a guy that can do both is really interesting and really cool to have, and we haven't had it in a little while. So you're absolutely right.
Dude, he's just awesome. And I get this was one of the rounding thirds, but it fits the conversation right now. Of the two, who would you prefer right now from the rest of the way? Rizzo, Gallo. Gallo now is making it a little more of a conversation, because before, obviously, with recency bias being a prisoner of the moment, you see what Rizzo's been doing before this Gallo game. But like, if you had to pick one for the rest of the way, who would you guys take?
Well, okay, so that's tough for one reason. Before I give you my straight answers, because coming into the deadline, first base wasn't an area of need. Outfield was an area of need. So if we goes back to the deadline and I had to pick one, I would have chosen Gallo. After seeing their production and what they've brought to the team so far, I'd choose Rizzo. But Gallo is not like a huge step down, just because he's not like Rizzo's going to come back down to earth. He's putting out otherworldly numbers right now. He's going to come back to earth. And we have Luke Voit, who is a pretty damn good first baseman. You know what? I'm talking myself more into Gallo. I think Rizzo's recent results obviously anybody who's watched the game is going to pick Rizzo right now, but for the long haul, I think Gallo giving you that lefty bat, giving you an outfielder when fucking you have Gardner, Allen. I love Greg Allen, but when you have Gardner, Allen, and Tyler Wade in an outfield in the same game, obviously you need an outfielder. I think Gallo was the better fit as far as need goes, as far as left-handed bat goes, as far as everything really goes for this team. Gallo was the much better fit, but based on recency bias, obviously I would choose Rizzo. But all in all, I agree. I think pre-deadline I go Gallo.
I think Rizzo seems like the easy answer right now, but I think if you ask the same question in a week or 2 weeks, we could very easily flip-flop those two. Like, it's what have you done for me lately? And right now, since the trades, it's been Rizzo, like all Rizzo, which is great. But,
so my next question would be, this is also rounding third, so shout out to the person who sent this to us on Instagram on the swipe up, but it also fits the bill. Who would you take for the rest of the season to have more home runs on the Yankees, Gallo or Rizzo?
Gallo.
I don't know how you answered that so quickly. I think it's a lot closer than you think, because...
No, I know it's close, but I'm just saying, like, I think Gallo getting number 1 out of the way for him was a big thing, because you can tell he was a little nervous, because like he is a Yankees fan through and through. Like that is what he wanted to do. He's wanted to be a Yankee his whole fucking life. Being that high caliber of a trade, that was on you. And being a Yankee fan, once you get one out of the way, I think he's going to start hitting him in bunches, because it's not like he's missing him by a lot. He's got all of his hits. I feel like that wasn't that home run were doubles. And it's not.
They were all doubles, yeah.
Exactly. And it's doubles he's getting on top of the ball, because he's kind of got a bit of an upstroke, which I know that's not going to change. But I feel like once he settles down a little bit and gets his timing just a little bit tweaked, those doubles that he's topping into the gap are going to go the extra 30, 40 feet and be a home run. I feel like once he got number 1 out of the way, because he comes in as this, he's the typical short porch guy. He's going to benefit out. That weighs on you. That the human factor comes, or the human element comes into play. And whenever you get one out of the way, I think they're going to start coming in bunches for him. I mean, he's undeniably the better power hitter. As a pure power hitter. Yeah, Rizzo's playing out of his mind, but
yeah, I think it's going to be Gallo too, for the same reason. But I don't think that makes Rizzo any less of
agreed.
An impact player. Like even though Gallo has 4 more home runs by the end of the year, Rizzo's going to hit for 30 or 40 points higher in average, which clearly balances it out.
Yeah, and I will say that it could also, one thing that makes the argument for Rizzo a little bit more likely, or not more likely, but gives it more of an actual chance of happening is, like, obviously, like you said, the contact, he's going to get the ball a lot more often than Gallo will, most likely, if you play by the averages. And just playing the lefty game, like, yeah, Gallo's going to hit him out by a mile, but Rizzo only needs to get it out by 314 feet to right field. So, like, it's just the home run numbers may be, we may not have, we probably haven't seen home run Rizzo yet at all, because he may just be that classic prototypical guy who can take advantage of the short porch and become a power hitter, because he wasn't before-ish. He still had 17 home runs this year, and Gallo's 25, but like, Gallos are probably going to go out, aside from tonight's wall scraper, the majority of Gallos are going to get out anywhere. So I think because Rizzo is more, benefited by that short porch, and he's going to have more quality contact, I would put him, honestly, I might take Rizzo for the rest of the year, and we'll keep track of this from here on out, because he also, I'm looking at the Wrigley dimensions, he's coming from a field that didn't really necessarily have the best right field porch. He had 353 down the line and 368 shortly to the left of it in right center. So I'm going to take Rizzo from here on out, so we'll keep track of that, and let us know in the comments or DM us what you guys have for the rest of the way, because that was a good question. I forget who was submitted that, but
you want to do knots, or you want to keep doing the hotter knots?
Well, we haven't talked about JMO yet, so we didn't talk about JMO a bunch, because JMO, like we talk about
July pitcher of the month.
July pitcher of the month. 1.16 ERA in July was the lowest in the American League. 2 runs or fewer is the thing that I am most interested in. I mean, I'm interested in all of that, but the 2 runs or fewer in every single one of his starts. I could read down the list, all of his starts right now. So the last 6 starts, 7 innings pitched, 1 earned run. 6 innings pitched, 2 earned. 5.1, 0 earned. 7, 1 earned. 5.2, 0 earned. 6.1, 2 earned. Just, that is something that is so unbelievably huge for the Yankees, because a team that until, 2 nights ago and the night before that were putting up double-digit runs, which hasn't happened for this team yet, just giving your team a chance to stay in the fucking game and give up 2 runs or less is so unbelievably huge. And for a guy like Jameson Taillon, who is clearly building the momentum, I have now bought into JMO Taillon, because he's only getting better as time goes on. And it's just awesome to see him hit his stride and just shake off the rust, because like we said before, it's unfair to judge him against other guys just who are coming into a season that didn't deal with Tommy John twice and didn't deal with cancer and didn't deal with not pitching for 2 years. And when you look at the list of people that we were comparing him to, who were also dealing with similar things, and we said before the season, like, if one of them works out, great, that was the plan. Sevy, what's he doing right now? He's battling back, so right now, kudos to Taillon for even being out there and now doing this. And then now you look at Kluber, who's another guy who was a similar situation. He's outperforming him too. So just tip your cap to JMO right now, because it's half the battle clearly as you can see around him, to stay on the field. And he's not only staying on the field, but he's fucking been lights out. He's literally the AL pitcher of the month. So I expect to see a lot more of Tyone. And if I was doing the buy or sell for this hot list, I would have super bought Tyone because I love what I'm seeing. And it's funny because I wasn't the biggest supporter of Tyone, and now
I know, that's what I was gonna say. Not to toot my own horn, but toot, because you guys were you especially, Mr. Lucarello, were very bullish on him, and rightfully so. He wasn't pitching well, but there's one thing I will say. I have a lot of very wrong takes. I am a complete and total jackass. I'll be the first person to tell you that. But I was never one to give up on Tyone because of what, like I said, he never really pitched that bad. Like, his stats were bad, and he had blow-up innings. And I was listening to him talk about it the other day, and it kind of fit what I've been saying the whole year, is that he gets ahead in counts, but he couldn't put anybody away. And he was talking about it the other day on the pregame show. He's like, I think that's what I figured out. He's like, I feel like all season I've been getting, 0-2, 1-2 on batters, and then I just lose them. I'm trying to make too good of a pitch. He said, once I start trusting my stuff, whatever. And again, that comes with time, and that comes with reps after missing 2 years. Now that he's starting to trust his shit, and he's throwing these pitches on 0-2, 1-2 that are putting away hitters, producing soft contact, strikeouts, whatever it is, I mean, you're getting the results that you're looking for rather than just showing flashes of good stuff and having 3 or 4 good innings. You can go deeper into games like that. And that's what he's doing. So,
and boy, do we fucking need it when you look at the guys, especially with the whole COVID situation, because Monty and Cole are both on the IL. I mean, he's the only one. You looked at, there was the rotation that was announced for this Mariners series. Obviously, we're okay with Nestor Cortez leading the pack there. That's fine. But when you look at the other one, Friday, tomorrow.
You want your ace out there?
Yeah, why wouldn't you want your ace out there? Nasty Nestor's fucking been killing it. And he also had it. Well, let's tip the cap to him again today. He had a great outing today. How many runs did he give up? He gave up 1 or 2? Two runs, and he went fucking 5+ innings. That's He's literally he's giving us starter caliber innings, which is unbelievable, and you can't even expect that out of him, and he's doing it. So it's not even a joke anymore. But when you look at the possible rotation this was at the time, it was Nestor on Thursday, up in the air on Friday, so who the fuck knows what's going to be tomorrow. Maybe a bullpen day, but our bullpen's been... Maybe it's going to be fucking... What's his name? Whatever that guy's name is.
Bill?
Glasnow. No, the Glasnow guy.
Oh, Ridling?
Maybe he's going to start an opener day. I mean, Chad was used to that. I don't know, but that's up in the air. Heaney on Saturday and Heel is on Sunday, so it's just unbelievably...
Holy shit. Do you want to know who's starting tomorrow real quick?
Tyone?
I'll give you, there's 26 people on the team. If I gave you 14 guesses, you wouldn't get it.
Albert Abreu.
Wandy fucking Peralta.
Yikes.
He's off the Sun?
No, he's on the Sun.
He's fully ingrained on the Sun. He comes off the IL, and I guess, you know what? This is perfect. Because like we said, we're giving people chances to come off the Sun, obviously. So let's see it, Wandy. Are you staying on the Sun or are you coming off the Sun? Because right now,
what gets him off the Sun tomorrow? Like,
yeah, let's put.
Give me just a
stat line.
And run
Perfect game.
Innings and run stat line.
He's got to go
to get off the Sun in a game. You're gonna have to give me. He's a reliever, so you have to give me 3 scoreless with like 6 Ks.
I don't think he's gonna go 3. I don't even think that's the plan. Like I don't think he can do that.
But like I just mean like
I don't think it's possible to get off the Sun for him in one game.
Yeah, that's true.
I think he has a little more leeway since he is coming off of COVID. So that is, if he comes out and deals coming off COVID, we could call some flu game Wandy, and then that's a shirt that prints itself right there. So
I will say though, our boy, friend of the pod, not to brag, top 20, I think he's up at 15 now, Yankee prospect Brandon Lockridge has informed me that Wandy Peralta is actually a super fucking awesome guy, which hurts me as the commissioner of the Sun, because that one cuts deep, but I have to take into account Brandon's opinion because he's a great judge of character. However,
being a good guy doesn't get you off the Sun.
Exactly.
Luis Cessa is a great guy, and you hate his guts.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
And I'm sure Jay Bruce is a nice guy, but he's the Sunmeister, so.
I mean, he brought that on himself. I don't need to hear anything from that.
What's next?
Sorry, the city was just being loud, so I was muting my mic. But
No,
want to get into the
it makes
knots?
it feel more authentic.
Want to get into the
Yeah,
knots?
Let's get into the knots.
Let's get into the knots.
Starting off the knot list will be Andrew Heaney, 4 innings pitched, 6 hits, 4 earned runs, 4 home runs, breaking the Yankee record for most home runs allowed in a debut.
Yeah, I'm buying that.
Albert Abreu, this month, 4.2 innings pitched, 13.5 ERA, 12.59 FIP, 7 runs, 3 homers allowed.
Buying that.
And I here's the thing, I also wanted to put Gallo on this list because not for like purposes of like, oh, I would buy this as well, but like just to bring to light, this is before tonight that I was writing this list, that he was 2 for 23 with 2 doubles before tonight. Obviously, he would not be on the not list. He was a borderline hot candidate, but we had 3 guys who just have been playing just unbelievably. So just shout out Gallo for not making the not list and potentially never making the not list. I never want to see his name on the not list, but I have a feeling like his style of play will probably come around the not list here and again, just like kind of people like Stanton and other streaky players. I don't know if he's a streaky player, but based on his
I feel like
career
he's
batting
pretty
average,
consistent at like the 220 range, which isn't great, but he's also getting on base like at 400. So
yeah,
you can do whatever you want.
But Andrew Heaney, man,
No, get the fuck out of here. What is that? What 4 home runs in 4 innings?
I mean, that's just
come on, man.
not hardware that you want to have.
To the Orioles, like if you did that to the Red Sox or the Astros, like if you gave up bombs to Bregman, Correa, Altuve, and then Correa again, that's one thing. But you gave it. Okay, I think the only one that was like legitimate, I think you gave up one to Cedric Mullins, who's pretty fucking good. Like, other than that, like, come on, buddy. It's not like he had a dominant stat line in LA either. He came over here with almost a 6 ERA. He wasn't even a metrics guy like Clay Holmes. We shit on Clay Holmes, but his advanced metrics were actually really good, and he's showing it here. Andrew Heaney had 0. He didn't have the advanced metrics. He didn't have the regular metrics, and then he comes out and gets shelled. No big fucking surprise.
So when we signed Heaney, I remember saying in the chat, like, that's a good move. Like, I wasn't upset about it like you guys were, only because, and I'm still not like super upset about it because we gave up nothing for him. It's more pitching depth, and that's all it was. It's not a show-stopping move, and you guys have to realize that, my main reason for saying, like, okay, good move in the chat in that moment was because we just got Rizzo and we just got Gallo. Like, these moves, the pitching move was probably not going to be Barrios, even if the Blue Jays didn't do that and give up a bunch. And keep in mind, they gave up Austin Martin and somebody else. They gave up a fucking lot for Barrios, who isn't even somebody that we even on this podcast and in baseball. I know he's having a decent year this year, but he's been very average for the past couple of years. So I don't want to give up names like that on our side of things. Like, we probably have to give up like Gil and yeah, Medina or people like that in a package for that. So, and do you really want to do that? No. So this move, to me, I wasn't as upset about it, and I'm still not upset about it, like I said, because it's pitching depth. It's a body who's gonna eat innings when evidently injuries happen that we have had. We're prone to those, but also COVID rearing its ugly head, and guys like Cole and Monty going on the COVID IL, and Wandy was on it as well. Loizago was on it. That's not even talking about the people that got injured. So Kluber, Sevy working their way back. So it definitely does not hurt, especially at the low cost. But with that being said, the record is not a good one to own. But I'm still not upset about him being here because, like I said,
I am
with the next couple of days with the pitching matchups, he's slated in there, and that is also with a day tomorrow being headlined with Wandy Peralta that was labeled up in the air.
I would rather give Devi a start over him, There's so many other people. I'd rather give any of the 40-man prospect guys a start.
Medina.
Like, I would rather give Medina a start over him.
Medina can't throw a strike though.
I don't want Medina to spoil. If Medina comes up for one game in like this kind of situation and gets shelled, I'm gonna be really upset.
Dude, Gil did. I was actually very surprised.
Gil's a little more ready than Medina.
I'm very surprised they went with Gil though, and I actually go check it out. Not to brag on myself again, but Bronx Pinstripes article about Mr. Luis Gil. I was very surprised they brought him up because, a lot of people talk about him being undeveloped, especially his secondary pitches, but he was really fucking good. Like, and I know it was the Orioles, and I know they're not very. They have 37 wins, so you're basically playing a little league team. But he looked really, really good. He looked polished. He was hitting his spots. That's the thing that kind of stuck out with Gil to me, is that he was dotting 99. He was locating 99 up. He was trusting it. I think if you could get something like that in a team, I don't even know. If you can get one start out of a guy on your 40-man that's a pitching prospect, that's a huge confidence booster for him going forward. And that gives you a better chance. There's no film on him. There's no tape on him. Heaney, whatever you want to say. People know what they're getting. He's not fooling anybody. Like, if you bring up Medina, you at least have the surprise factor, which, take that aside from his electric stuff, I don't think one start's enough to ruin his career either. If he came up and got shelled, it'd be like, okay, shit, well, the Yankees' top prospect came up and he didn't do so well. He's not ready yet. He goes back down for a year and he does his thing, and he comes back up in 2022 or 2023 and he does fine.
And this is something that obviously is a short-term problem, dealing with a filler like that and having a Wandy Peralta start. And I'm just very happy that at least we have the offense to stay in games, because if we were talking about this team with these starters slated a month ago, these are all losses, even though we're playing relatively easier schedule aside from the Mariners. But like, even against Baltimore, I don't know that we can win that game with these starters and the offense that was putting up no runs at all. Like, all it takes is one run to lose a game. So that I'm at least happy about, that it's a short-term problem. One thing that I did notice on Twitter, Batista, the sweet guy, put up this tweet. He said 2019 all season, year of the next man up, 54 total players were used, 30 players on 39 IL stints. This year, in 2021, with 56 games remaining, 55 players compared to the 54 total players are used. So more players are used so far, 27 players on 37 IL stints. So just about the same as the next man up year. So with nearly 2 months left, we could break the record of 67 players used by a single team. So that is something that I want to bring up, and obviously, that is an excuse. That I don't want to say it's not an excuse by the Yankees for having such a bad year, but it definitely is. But also the caveat that every other team is dealing with it, and the reason why that number is so close is because the COVID IL accounts for that too. So that, so like the bad luck that we had in 2019 still trumps that of this year. Although, having COVID is also bad luck, but I'm saying in terms of just like random injuries, like that was wild. This is double counting. I think every injury we've had, we've also had one on the COVID side of things. So I think they're about split. So I would just cut those numbers in half. So it's not nearly as bad as the 2019 next man up. But like, that's why we're seeing guys like, I keep forgetting Glasnow's name. I'm just going to keep calling him Glasnow. But that's why we're seeing guys like him pitch.
Ridling. His name's Ridlings or Ridlings or
something. Heaney being on this team. So I have one question before we move on from this.
Hold on. I have a gripe with you real quick.
Okay.
You need to remember Steven Ridling's name.
I'll never forget Steven Ridling's name.
I did not know it either. I would have loved to like been the guy that was like, hey, yeah, it's Ridlings. Every time you were like, I don't remember his name, I was like, I don't know his name either.
No, I after I watched that inning, I'll never forget his name. If he doesn't ever pitch another inning, I'll remember his name as the guy that came in throwing 102.
That's gonna be a trivia question someday.
Yeah.
And we're gonna can we do that again? Me and Murphy were skull fucking.
I've been on vacation. Damon's on a fucking, I don't know what he's doing. He's on like a road trip in Montana. Sorry if you're from Montana, but I don't know why you're out there, Damon. But and I was in California just checking out the ballparks. I mean, also, small gripe with you, Murphy, before we move on to more Yankees talk. I went out to see the San Francisco ballpark. Obviously, McCovey Cove, all that. that was the best ballpark I've been to. And for those listening, I'm trying to do the ballparks, the 30 ballparks. I'm only at 6 now, but I got some of the hard ones out of the way, and a lot of them obviously are around here, so we can make some quick moves on that. But I also saw Oakland Coliseum, and obviously everybody gives it, a bad rep. And I want to put some respect on it because I really enjoyed my time there. And Murph, I think exactly how you defined it was it's a dumpster fire with a little charm. I think there was a lot of charm. I think it was a lot of fun. So tip my cap.
You must have had a little different experience. I went a couple of years ago. And when I went, it was not great.
But I'm sure they didn't have that bar that I sent to you. It's
definitely not worse than the Trop. I hear
the Trop is disgusting. That's
so it's definitely not that bad. And like as a ballpark in terms of features and things like that, it's really cool. But it was like crumbling when I went there. So they must have done some renovations or something.
It looks a little bit better.
Unbiased, and this isn't because I don't like the Rays. As somebody who grew up in Florida and not having a team, the closest team to me was, I guess, the Braves, but I don't really give a fuck about the Braves. So the next closest team to me was Tampa. So I went to a decent amount of games at the Trop growing up. The Trop is an absolute shithole. Like, that is just totally unbiased, not because I'm a Yankees fan. Whoever designed the Trop needs to face life in prison. It's terrible. There was a ball stuck in the fucking catwalk. Thank you. There's a ball stuck in the fucking catwalk. My only good memory from the Trop was the first time I ever went. I got some really mediocre Outback cheese fries from a stand. That's my only good memory from the Trop.
Your good memory was mediocre fries.
Yes.
Awesome. So I've been to, speaking of Florida stadiums, I went to the Miami Stadium earlier a month ago. That stadium, I wouldn't say it sucked. It wasn't like dirty or anything like you're mentioning for the Trop or anything like that. And they don't have a catwalk, so that's fun, but just boring. It was nothing really going on. The dome was up, so that's also not fun. But you have to do that in Florida because the weather can change at any time. But I'm gonna put some respect on Oakland, and I had a great time there. So, and they also like their team. That was the biggest thing too. Like when I was in Miami, that nobody was fucking there.
Dude, when I went to my game, Trevor Bauer pitched for the Indians as the away team, and there were maybe, say that place fits 40,000 people, there were like 15,000 when I went.
That's bad.
And Bauer was pitching.
Dude, I have friends that live in Tampa, and when they were in the ALDS the ALCS last year against the Astros, they said they were sending me videos and shit of in the Trop playoffs. They got $40 seats on like the third baseline, and there was. If you didn't tell me how many people it held, I would have guessed there was 580 people at that game for a playoff game.
All right, so do you want to talk about what's next? Greg Allen. So Greg Allen got sent down. What the fuck's the deal with that? I have a gripe with that. I still don't have the gripe button pulled up, but I just have a fucking gripe with that. Like, what the fuck is the point?
It's just so you can justify putting Brett Gardner out there, because Brian Cashman said it. I think Brian Cashman has said more times in the last week than he has in his entire career that Brett Gardner is our center fielder going forward. That's the only reason that Greg Allen got sent out. I was like, haha, you guys think that you know more than me? Fuck you. We're going to ruin this guy's life, cut his paycheck by 95%, and send him to Scranton. Take that. Now who's your center fielder, bitch? Like, no. Stupid. Dumb. Terrible. Even if he doesn't start, he provides so much value to this team as a pinch runner, as a pinch hitter. He puts together solid at bats. He walks. He's not afraid to get hit by a pitch. Stupid. That's stupid as fuck. That's literally just to make a point.
He's not afraid to get hit by a pitch. I love that.
He has 5 hit by pitches. He had five hit by pitches in 6 games.
As if that's like any sort of a skill. Maybe he's just bad at getting out of the
way. That
way.
is a skill. He's not afraid to be a team guy. A lot of other people, if they have a curveball coming at their fucking hip, they're gonna jump out of the way and strike out on 3 pitches. If somebody throws Greg Allen a curveball, he's taking it off the fucking teeth if he has to. That man's getting on base and he's gonna steal second, third, and home. That's stupid.
This is a good time to get into rounding third. So this is where we take all of your hot takes and everything like that. We buy or sell them on the show. So the first one actually was about Greg Allen. So is that the Yankees refuse? It's from 4 Train Savages. So go check out their podcast, Yankees podcast too. They have a lot of fun. Yankees refuse to replace Brett Gardner with Greg Allen because Brett has dirt on Cash.
Agreed. Also, second that somebody else said this doesn't need its own separate one, but it made me laugh. This isn't a hot take, but we need to bring back third leg Greg, and that I busted out laughing at that. So,
Who said that one in?
shout out to you, Jay Hessian.
And speaking of, yes, third leg Greg needs to come back up, and SKLOV28
Put that on
said
a
Greg
shirt.
Allen does not get sent back up for the rest of the year. Now I'm gonna sell that one.
He doesn't
Strictly
get
because of
put-
injuries, yeah.
He's saying he doesn't get pulled back up.
He's saying he won't.
If he doesn't get pulled back up, Greg Allen should sue the New York Yankees because that is total bullshit.
I just don't see why. I
Wrongful
get
termination.
wrongful termination. I just don't get it. Like, he brings more tools to the table than Brett Gardner does. I'm not even talking about that getting hit by pitches.
Tyler Wade.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I personally think that's why I'm going to sell this, because those tools will be a thing, come playoff time when we do make the playoffs, because I really do think we are going to at this point. We're playing good baseball, and this series against Seattle is very, very big. Is it just, it's 2 more games against Seattle, so
Three.
Three,
We got
I
a
thought.
4.
It's
Yeah,
4
we have
game
a 4
set.
game.
4-game set. So, I mean, it's very big, and then that leads into the Kansas City series, and then the Field of Dreams against the White Sox, and then following that 2 more games against the White Sox. But like, I got high hopes right now. If we're gonna put a panic meter to it, I think we're in a good spot. I think it was Paul O'Neill was saying, 5.5 games is where you circle a striking distance to really go for something, go for a division. We're right there with that. As we saw, that can change real quick. That can change by a 3-game skid. Boston's been playing bad right now. The Rays have been playing pretty good. Like, it's just a lot can
That
change.
leads
Right.
to another hot or not though that I want to bring up that I saw on there is that we're gonna from Keaney FFA whatever, we're gonna go take over the AL East and go to the World Series. So sorry to interrupt you, but it was too good of a spot not to. I'd be
Good
remiss.
segue. Here's the thing. I'm gonna sell it because the World Series is a lot to ask for, but if a lot of things go right, if Sevy comes back, if Kluber comes back, they pitch well, if Heaney never sees the light of day, I'm kidding. If he does something, like, if a lot of these guys come back and the offense stays as good as this, Voigt's coming back, we're gonna fit him in there somehow. If Stanton can play left field, if all of these things happen to make that monster lineup, that would be DJ. Rizzo has been in the 2-hole, and I love him there. DJ, Rizzo, I think it was Judge, Stanton, Gallo. Then you go Voigt, and then it's just like the list goes on. Gio, Glaber, like that lineup is disgusting. And if you have that is a team that should, and we said before this season, that's a World Series favorite, and that's why we were getting that respect in terms of the Vegas odds for that. But like, when you look at it now, and what they've been doing all season, no, I'm going to say we can't make the World Series. Can we make the playoffs? Totally. When you make the playoffs, and I don't think there's a team that wants to face this Yankees team because they know like what these players can do. And when you turn the page and go into October baseball, I don't really care how you've been doing all season. It doesn't matter. Like, it's the hot team. So like I said, if everything goes right in terms of people coming back and people playing well that have been on the roster for the longest time, and health stays okay and COVID doesn't do this thing anymore, it could definitely happen. I'm going to say no, but
I'm telling you,
I wouldn't
yeah. Go ahead. I'm feeling more confident now than I have in a long time. I didn't quite realize how much I appreciated the acquisitions of Rizzo and Gallo until probably today or yesterday, and watching them put together at bats. Even if they're not getting on base, they're seeing 7, 8, 9 pitches in at bat. Both of them are getting. I feel like Gallo doesn't take the bat off his shoulder till it's 3-2. I feel like because of the at bats they're putting a lot of stress on the pitcher just in those two by themselves. You're knocking pitchers out of the game early. You're getting to bullpens. That's something you need in the postseason. You got to get rid of your starters, especially in these short series, and you got to work the bullpens and tire them out for later down the road. Theoretically, the bullpen's supposed to be the strong suit of this team. If you can get down to game 5, 6, 7, and you're facing the bullpen that's depleted because you have a Rizzo, because you have a Gallo that's out there working every single at bat, that's a huge addition. Even if they're not getting the timely hits and they're not getting on base, as long as they're working counts and not first pitch pop up, first pitch ground out, which we see a lot of on this team, they're providing tremendous value. So that's I think it's possible. I'm not gonna, if I were to put money on it, I wouldn't put the Yankees as my favorite to win the East or even my favorite bet in the East. But I don't hate it. I think like I said, this is the most confident I felt about it in a long time. Since opening day, this is the most confident I felt about this roster.
Murph, what do you
The
think?
only reason that I would go against it is because of how bad they started.
So, can you refresh my memory with the actual question, because I did escape for a second?
To take a quick piss. Just basically how you're feeling right now in terms of our
Winning
chances
the
to win the AL East. And I mean, the rounding third came to us and they said we'll go on a run and make the World Series. I don't know if that'll happen. Like I said, a lot has to go right, but like, what's your confidence meter right now to win the AL East and your confidence heading into the playoffs if we do make it there?
So I think that Chandler is absolutely right in saying that he's as confident now as he has been all year since opening day. I'm absolutely with that. I think that the deadline made a big difference, because even if we're playing as well now as we are without Rizzo, without Gallo, and without the deadline in general, I'm still like, okay, well, we've seen how bad this roster is, and we needed some changes if we're going to make a run at the division, if we're going to make a run at the World Series. I think we're in a much better spot with Rizzo and Gallo. I think a lot has to do with how Sevi does when he comes back, because we're desperately in need of a pitcher of his caliber if he pitches at his best. So I don't know if I'm buying a World Series at all yet, but I think the East is within striking distance at the very least.
Anybody want to cry real quick? Little
No.
tear up session? No, in a
No.
good way.
Okay,
In a good way. Joey Gallo, who grew up a huge Yankees fan, on getting a curtain call at Yankee Stadium. I was thinking in the outfield, the 10-year-old me would be crying right now and not believing what's going on. It's crazy to me. It's an honor to play for this organization.
Love that.
That's my guy. He's the Italian
You can
stallion.
tell that Rizzo and Gallo both like being in New York.
So there's a thing here. With Rizzo, he understands the importance of it. He's a seasoned veteran who's been around. He's won a World Series. He knows what it means that the Yankees traded for him. Gallo, this has been his pipe dream since he was a fucking child. Like, he's living his fantasy as a little leaguer. So for both of them, it's just massive. Rizzo on the professional side, because he's just a world-class guy in general. He's like, oh, holy shit, the Yankees gave up this for me. Like, I was reading something about it too. It's like his first at bat in Miami, he stepped in the box, and there was an overwhelmingly large Yankees population there, and they went fucking crazy. He said, the article I was reading was like, you could see him, he took a step out and took a breath, like, okay, like it was like him coming to terms with the magnitude of the situation. Like, holy shit, I got traded to the Yankees to make a postseason run. Like, me being traded here is super important. And then Gallo's just every one of us. You know, it's like if one of us had panned out and actually been good at baseball. That's what Gallo's living right now.
Yeah, for me, with Rizzo at the beginning at least, I just feel like his heart was in Chicago, which it should be. Like, good, he loved it there. He grew up there, playing baseball there, 11-year career there, winning a World Series there, all that. Family's all there probably. He just didn't look like even with the gloves, the batting gloves and the cleats he was paying homage to the Cubs. I love that. Like, I love all that. It just felt like you said, I think Gallo wanted to be here a little more than Rizzo did, and his heart was kind of in Chicago still. I think that has since changed. I'm curious. Like, obviously, I want to extend Rizzo right the fuck now. Give him a blank check. Who cares? Because he's exactly what you want in a first baseman in every capacity, especially for a team like the Yankees, like we said before. Do you think he signs it though? Like I have a feeling like he might want to go back to the Cubs. Like I feel like his heart's there.
I feel like him and his family is just living in like a Marriott in New York, and they're just like, yeah, we're not selling our house. We're going back. Like the Cubs could give me 10 years, $11 million, and I'm going back.
Like he said it, and I think Bryant said it the same. They were all like, I'd rather go if the ship's going down. I want to go down with it. Like they just love Chicago so much, and I don't fucking blame them. I mean, I saw the way the fans treated him on the way out when he was leaving Chicago. Like that was just chills. Like that was crazy.
So I went to Chicago just a couple of years ago and went to one game against the Padres on like an afternoon, whatever. I have never seen a fan base like a player more than the Chicago Cubs fan base loved Anthony Rizzo.
No, that is
He
true.
was
I went to a
everywhere.
No, I went to a
like-
game, Cardinals Cubs game in Wrigley, and it was the first time Rizzo ever pitched. They were losing 16-1. Not a fucking fan left the stadium. Not a single person. Every time Rizzo threw a strike, even if it was a called strike that was 62 down the middle, the place was on their feet going fucking crazy. Wrigley
It's like-
in Chicago absolutely loves Rizzo. I'm telling you right now, I've been to a lot of pretty cool games in my life. That Cubs Cardinals game in the middle of August, which meant nothing, that was 16-1, was up there as my coolest moments. Because it was a packed house. That just shows you how much they love Rizzo and they love Bryant. They love that core, but Rizzo especially. He came in and threw. He was pitching, and they were all on their feet like it was a tie game in the World Series.
The only player I've ever seen that was that beloved by a fan base is Derek Jeter. There's the only one that like
Agreed.
in my lifetime that I've at least seen it like firsthand in terms of going to a game and seeing how much a single player is just universally adored by every single person in the stadium.
I really don't think he's gonna resign. I just
There's no shot.
I mean even
That's right.
when he signed what
I'm okay if he goes back to Chicago. If he goes somewhere else, I'm a little mad.
Yeah.
that's
But,
I think
like,
what's gonna happen. I don't think he'll go somewhere else. If it meant going somewhere like not going back to the Cubs, I think he'll sign back with us. But I just genuinely believe he's gonna
Do you
stay.
think we'll offer him a contract though? Did you see
Yes.
the thing the other day? They asked Cashman about it. He was like, "We'll have to see what the budget looks like. I know there's not a lot of wiggle room in our."
Well, that's the thing. I don't think
Salary
we're going
right
to be
now.
able to give him, nor should we give him a blank check. Like,
I mean, obviously we shouldn't give him a blank check. And anytime I say a blank check outside of like Corey Seager, I'm totally joking. It's a 100% exaggeration, but Rizzo deserves to be paid. And I didn't even realize he's as young as he is. He's like what, 31?
Yeah,
it's
and
just
when you
he's
look
been in
at
the league for a
and
while.
when you look at all the people on this team, like I know some of these contracts are already set in stone in terms of the bigger ones, but if you had to pick people on this team to build it around going forward for the next couple of years to make a championship run, I'm picking Rizzo probably one of the first people off that list after Cole and after probably Judge, and that'd be it. I think I'd pick Rizzo.
Heaney?
Like right now, I'd probably take Rizzo over LeMahieu, but maybe it's close. But regardless, he's top 5 off that list, so he should absolutely be paid and get a fucking big contract. That being said, a lot of things have to happen right now in terms of the people that we do have here. Like Judge has to get a contract extension. What's going on with Glaber in terms of, I don't know, I know he's got arbitration, a few more years left like that, but like Sten's contract can't come off. Cole's he's locked up for a little bit. We still have big contracts in Chapman and Britton. All those ones, we have a lot of contracts that don't allow us to have wiggle room right now, but if I could start over again and pick somebody right now at their current state to give a contract to, I think Rizzo is one of the first ones that I would give to.
No, I totally agree. And that blows my mind that he's only 31. I can't get over that. I legitimately, when we traded for him, I was like, oh, cool. We got a guy at the back end of his career. Like, he'll be a nice rental, and he's like a 35-year-old first baseman. He's a big emotional guy. And then I looked deeper into it. I was like, holy shit, he's squarely in the middle, like middle
I
end
think
of
he's
his
just
prime.
over the hill. I think he's over the hill.
Yeah, I don't think
but,
he's
like-
over the hill. I think he's at the back end of his prime.
Right. I mean, if you assume it's like
He's on the
I think, like,
hill. He's
if
on
you
the
got, like,
hill,
this little
like hopping in
curve,
the
I
car
think
to
that
go down.
2016 is like the top, and then now he's like, going down a little bit. Doesn't mean he's bad by any means, But like, you can't expect him to be the guy he was in 2016, 2017. Although he has been recently, so maybe I'm wrong.
Before we hop out of here, I just wanted to. So the Field of Dreams is coming
A
up.
couple of the hot or nots.
Oh
too.
wait, yeah, let's do that first. Well, let's
I
talk about
said
the Field of
we don't
Dreams
wanna
first.
leave
Just
people
the Field of Dreams jerseys came out, and it's just so funny that the Yankees jerseys I knew they weren't gonna look any different. The hats do look nice. They look like older hats, but like, how much is really gonna change? The White Sox jerseys look pretty dope. Like, that's what I wanted to see out of the Yankees. I almost wanted them to create jerseys that didn't exist before. Like, I know they looked like this back in the day, but like, make something that is, just make it up, like make it look funny, make it look like the White Sox had it, you know? And I mean, I personally think, and I know a lot of people feel this way too, I saw it in the comments, is that the swish just ruins it. And I really wish they just left that off for one game. Come on, like,
Yeah, come on,
MLB,
Nike.
pay them out of pocket. Like, give Nike what they want, what they would make that day in an opportunity cost, and just take it off. Like that, it just, I don't know. That's just me.
I agree. I'm with you.
No,
I
I'm with
honestly totally forgot it was happening until
I'm
today.
so excited for it.
I am now, but I just
So I thought it was the whole series. It's only one game.
It's just the first game, yeah,
so
on the
what
12th.
fuck- Wait, where are they going for the rest of it?
There's a day off, and then I think they're going back to the Chicago,
That's silly.
which is closer than New York.
Are they
So-
doing like a series there? Is there another team playing there too?
No, it's just us. It's the one game.
So they're building that entire thing for one game. Well,
Yeah.
that just seems silly. I feel like they should do a couple there.
Well, they'll probably do it again next year and all that stuff. But
It
I'm
is
just
cool.
excited to watch it and see like the production side of things. I think they're gonna do. I hope they do it really
No,
well.
I agree too. It'll be cool. I actually forgot. Like I said, I forgot it was happening. So that'll be. It's something new. I'm excited.
Gotta watch the Field of Dreams right before it.
Have to.
Have to.
If you build it, they'll come, Luke.
So a couple more of these rounding thirds before we sign off here. Luis
Allow me to
Gil,
lead. Oh, I was gonna say.
Luis
you go, you
Gil or Luis Heel will have a better career than Luis Severino. I'll let Murphy take the reins on this one because he's the biggest Luis guy. So
Let me.
this
I'm
is
gonna
a real
couple another
tale.
one. I'm gonna couple another one with that. You can knock them both out because it's another Luis Heel one. Is that he's gonna be the number 2 starter next season?
I don't think he's going to be the number 2 starter next season. I think you're out on that.
I think you're crazy out on that.
I think you're
I agree.
absolutely wild for that. No. As far as I think it depends more on Luis Severino than it does Luis Gil. Like if Luis Severino never really fully recovers from this injury, then absolutely Luis Gil or Heel has the opportunity to be the better of the 2 pitchers. But if Severino comes back and is 90% of what he was or better than he was, then I think Sevy's probably going to be the better pitcher.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, if like let's say Sevy comes back and he doesn't, and he is not remotely close to what he was before, which was Cy Young caliber Sevy for 2 years. So basically, all he would have to do, Luis Heel, would be, and not all he would have to do. That's a pretty big thing he would have to be, even in the running for Cy Young, is wild to do, but you only got to do it 2 times. So like, it is a lot assuming of Sevy's health, but I'm gonna go with Sevy because I am weirdly confident that he's gonna come back and be a productive pitcher. I don't think he's gonna come back
Did you
and
see the slider he threw
What's
the other
Sevy,
day?
26?
yeah.
27.
Sevy's also still very young, so
That's the thing, yeah.
He threw a slider the other day in his rehab start in Double-A that like made me puke. It was disgusting.
I mean,
I
it's
think
just
he'll
health.
be.
It's
I
not
think
about
he'll be
pitching.
just fine. He'll
Yeah,
be just
if he can stay
fine.
healthy.
All right,
Also,
here-
another one with Luis Heel. There was one that said Luis Heel will be the 3 starter in the playoffs.
No. I don't care how well he does the rest of the year. Well, also he's probably only got one more start in the bigs. He's gonna play. He's gonna pitch Saturday, and then he's probably done regardless of what he does because Cole and Montgomery are gonna be back next week. Sometime.
I don't think we're going to be in a position where we need him to be the 3 starter in the playoffs, and if we do, that's not a good thing.
I hope not. That's what I was gonna say.
And it's
Yeah.
not because he's bad. It's not because he's good. It's the fact that he is as young as he is, and I
He's
don't care if it's a
23.
perfect game on Saturday. We should not have to be rushing him up and relying on him in a way that.
I agree. I
wasn't
think the
planned.
exposure to the major leagues is a good thing, but I don't. There's no reason to. He should be a 2022 option at the absolute earliest.
Oh
we
no,
should be
I
looking
think
at
he'll be up in
2022.
2022. I think he'll.
Well, but my thing is, I was looking at it today. You've got Cole, Tyone, Montgomery, and Sevy as your first four, and then I think the fifth spot's going to be a battle between Heel, Clark,
Heaney.
Devi, and did you
Heaney.
say Heaney?
Oh, you're
Unfortunately,
not talking about the playoffs?
I'm talking about next year.
Oh,
We're talking about 22. So it's going to be
Never
your
mind.
fifth one is going to be Domingo, Devi, Clark, Heel, and maybe Medina, maybe. So
I think Heel's up like at least maybe not a full year, but like a significant amount of time before Medina.
I think Heel next year is going to get. I think he's going to be rotated in and out of the 5-hole. I think he'll get a decent amount of starts, but won't be in a solidified rotation piece.
See, the reason I'm worried about bringing him up this year is because like I don't want to see a Devi situation where like he's up kinda, and then now Devi, like we were so high on Devi the last 2 years, and then now we don't even really talk.
Well,
about
did you read
now
the
he's an
article about
afterthought.
him the other day from Keith Law?
No.
They were talking about how they fucked with his whole windup in the offseason, tried to make him like a sidearm pitcher. And they were talking about how they just completely ruined his entire development. And that's why he's fucked up this year.
Luke, don't say Sidewinder.
Or did they make his development better? It's just a long process
I don't know.
to
You
change.
tell me he's got an 8 ERA this year.
Yeah, but wait till next year when he's a Darren O'Day reincarnated. But
all right, we're moving on to the
Dominican
next
version.
question.
One last thing on that. I don't want him to be treated like Devi in terms of doing that opener extravaganza switcheroo with J-Hap or a J-Hap equivalent. And that J-Hap equivalent, I'm assuming in this situation, would be Heaney. So my nightmare would be...
Heaney
my
pitches
nightmare
in a playoff series, I'm not a Yankees fan.
My nightmare would be Luis Heel coming in for the opener in Game 3 of the playoffs, and Heaney is the one piggybacking him. Nightmare scenario. I hope we come back to the tape and that happens, because that'd be funny to check back. But if that does happen, that's a nightmare.
If that does happen, I won't be on the show. I'll be dead on my couch.
That's basically that's what happened with the last year. So it's not like the crazy. It is the craziest thing to say because they won't do that again. But
I will literally
to say
go
that
into
where we're
cardiac
at
arrest
now,
if
to
that
say that
happens.
where we're at now about this postseason is what happened in that.
There's a lot of
I don't
stuff
know.
about
Either
this
way,
season
I got a
where
good
3
rounding
months
third
ago-
here that I wanted to hear from you guys. We should not have traded for Gallo because I totally sell that.
I mean,
yeah. Right now I sell it, but you never know.
I after hearing the emotional side of things too, he's a good Yankee. He's a good one. Just like we got Rizzo, we got two good guys, and he plays damn good defense. And I mean, dude, what happened tonight could literally start a wild stretch of a hot stretch in this guy. And I mean, just something that's refreshing to see for me is he's hitting these doubles, but he's legging them out. Like he's going for it. He wants it. He's showing hustle on the base paths too. It's just something so refreshing that we haven't seen. It just takes one too, and we got this one, and that's a pretty damn big one to win a game against a playoff competitor that you're going up against right now to make the wild card. Well, your backs are against the wall because we don't control our own fate. We have a lot that we have to deal with, and other teams that have to lose. And I'm paying attention to all the other games, and as I'm sure everybody is, and obviously the players are too. Like we're at a point where we don't control our own fate. So when you have a big home run like that, and the clubhouse definitely fucking knows that, you feel it, everything. I have a feeling like Joey Gallo is about to go on a crazy good run, and it may not be just power. It may just be contact and getting a bunch of hits and doubles, and that's fine. And I think one cautionary tale for Yankees fans would be to not worry about the home run numbers if they don't come, because I don't care. Like it doesn't matter.
They are going to come though.
They will. I'm just saying. Let's say
I'm going to say Gallo's going to carry us through the next month.
I agree. I
really and truly think he just need to get home run number 1 out of the way. That's so much pressure coming in as a Yankees fan, as the prize deadline piece, the left-handed hitter with the short porch. That's a lot of fucking pressure. Once you get number 1 off your back, and he came up with number 1 in a massive moment.
Especially when your running mate, who just got signed with you, comes out guns blazing, hits 500. That's more pressure on you, because even if
the guy who was the 1B to you were the prize, and then the other guy was oh shit, they didn't get Story, so they got Rizzo. And he's coming out, which, right or wrong, obviously it's wrong now looking at it, but that was the initial thought. Was like, oh, okay, they missed out on the story sweepstakes. They're gonna go get Rizzo, and now it's the guy they settled for is going fucking ballistic, and you're the prize piece that's kind of slacking. I think that home run in the big spot is enough to spark something. Just
today
wild
was a
from him.
big remember me moment that even for himself too. It's like I'm here. The Yankees also traded for me for a good reason. They gave up some good prospects for me for good reason. I'm gonna come and I'm gonna help this team. And I really think he's going to be doing that. I think he's my prediction from the second half. Like we talked about that rounding third we got before about Tyone being the best pitcher of the second half. I think Gallo's going to be that guy for us. I think Gallo's going to go out and just fucking tear the cover off the ball.
He's playing damn good defense.
That's what I was about to
Did you
say
see that
too.
catch he made in left field like 2 nights ago?
Oh, we knew that. We knew he had the defensive side. That's
Dude,
why
he made
I
one of
didn't
those
agree with that
Tatis
big
like double jump catches in left field. It was fucking sweet.
I'm
talking
not worried
myself
about his
into a
defense.
World Series.
I'm talking myself. I'm ready to have my heart broken again. And just PSA to anybody who may be working the field at Yankee Stadium: if you do see a cat run on the field, don't kick it. I have 2 cats. Chandler's got some cats. The guy somebody tried to swipe at it, and then somebody tried to kick at it. I don't know why. That's what I don't know if he thought it was an alligator or something. It's not a scary animal. Like you totally could have just like let it run. Huh?
Cats are terrifying.
Yeah, whatever.
They're psychopaths.
Cats are not terrifying.
I've seen you play with my
I would've
cat,
kicked it.
and you were the nicest. You had the best time in the world. So
Yeah, you see, I
No,
can just
your
see
cat
Murphy
is
just
fine.
like cackling away on the couch.
I in
with
general do not like
Ghost.
cats. Rella, your cat's fine, but
I was gonna say, generally speaking, I was not a cat person, and then, I met a couple good ones, and I was like, okay, cats are cool. Either way, you should never kick a domestic animal,
no. He
regardless
missed,
of
so
if it's a
that
dog, cat, parrot, ferret, whatever the fuck it is. Don't kick a fucking domestic animal.
and he missed. So it's
where
a
do you
good,
draw the
good
line?
thing.
What's the first animal you would kick, Chandler?
An alligator.
That's the
Any
first one.
Maybe not the first.
In
I
terms
would
of,
say a
I'm talking,
snake.
like domestic. Like think of like the domestic scale.
If it was a snake. Anybody
Yeah.
that owns a pet snake, that's scary. Snakes are my biggest fear in the world.
You
So
wouldn't
if you
kick a
own
lizard.
depends on how big the lizard.
See,
We're
I feel
gonna
like I
we're
would-
gonna have PETA on the horn here real soon.
Dude, no. PETA would agree. Snakes deserve to be kicked.
No, I think that's a good line. I think snakes is a good line.
That's a good way to end today's show. So, snakes deserve to be kicked, according to Chandler. Put that on a T-shirt, and that is how we're gonna end the show today. If you enjoyed the show, make sure to leave us a 5-star rating review on iTunes. Just while you're there, just swipe up, help us out a little bit at 5 stars. Whether you want to write something or just give us 5 stars helps us a ton, helps us create more shows, and really makes
If
us
you write
happy.
something, we might just read it.
We
So,
might just read it, and that is always fun. So if you are an audio-only person, these are always live. People are live in the chat right now on YouTube, and we usually go live right after the game, so that's fun to hang out in the chat and talk with us. Shout out Nemo in the chat. He's always been a usual regular in the chat. But if you want to check out the video version, we are always live after the games on Monday nights and, well, it's Friday now, so Thursday nights. And yeah, so check out the Bronx Pinstripes YouTube page for that. And check out the shop, link in bio. We got a bunch of t-shirts, so
new one
love you
coming
guys.
out tomorrow. for
yep. New ones coming
Italian
out, always
Stallion.
coming out. If you have any ideas for t-shirts you want to see too, let us know. And we will definitely do that. And we'll see if Wandy Peralta can get off the sun. So keep your eyes